Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Opportunity to address the court. As an attorney who is also a Christian, I take my responsibilities as a lawyer very seriously, and I endeavor to be a person of sound moral and ethical character in all of my dealings. In the wake of the 2020 presidential election, I believed that challenging the results on behalf of President Trump should be pursued in a just and legal way. I endeavored to represent my client to the best of my ability. I relied on others, including lawyers with many more years of experience than I, to provide me with true and reliable information, especially since my role involved speaking to the media and to legislators in various states. What I did not do, but should have done, Your Honor, was to make sure that the facts the other lawyers alleged to be true were in fact true. In the frenetic pace of attempting to raise challenges to the election in several states, including Georgia, I failed to do my due diligence. I believe in and I value election integrity. If I knew then what I know now, I would have declined to represent Donald Trump in these post-election challenges.
Are you ready? Hello everybody, it's Jeff. I hope everybody having a good weekend. And it was nice here today. Of course, it was colder than yesterday. Yesterday was in the 80s. Today it was in the mid 40s. But it was sunny. And then it started to get a little more cloudy as the day came to an end. So I got here the rest of the week here is probably going to be much of the same. And so I wanted to talk about, there was a big march in New York today. And I think what happened, a lot of them were on the Brooklyn Bridge or something, and they were, they had to shut down traffic because all these people were there. And it was Palestinian Americans, okay, that were out there, not so much protesting, but just marching for peace in what's going on right now in Israel and in the Gaza Strip. And there's been a lot of blowback, especially coming from the Democrats, okay? I get the feeling that the Democrat population in America is kind of divided here on, whose side are they going to support, the Jewish people or the Palestinian people. And so you're getting a lot of comments, like especially from Ocasio-Cortez, who said she condemns Hamas, for what they've been doing. But, what people don't understand, and I'm hoping that she understands, is that Hamas and the Palestinians are not one and the same thing. Okay, Hamas is the government that Palestinians are living under, which is an oppressive thing. It's like a terrorist government, and these people have very little to any freedoms there under them. And the people, the Palestinians, don't like Hamas any more than the Americans do, but they've got no choice. I mean, there's just, they're basically what's controlling them. And, when she said that she condemns Hamas, people immediately think that means all the Palestinians as well, because they think that that's all the Palestinian people are the ones out there fighting and doing that, and it's not. There's people that are, sidelined, okay, as there is in any war from any country. It's like not every single German was out there fighting with the Nazis during the war. Not every single Palestinian is been drafted into the Hamas terrorist group, okay? And a lot of them don't want this fight, the Palestinians. A lot of the Palestinians don't want this war. They want it to end, okay? And that's being reflected here in the United States. That, they don't want to see their people over there slaughtered by the Jewish people. And then on the other hand, you got the other side, the Jewish Americans out there marching, saying that they don't want their people killed by Hamas, okay? And, what you have is you got both sides basically saying they want peace, all right? And why should anybody take one side or the other in a march, both on two marches that are both basically coming to the same thing? They both want this thing to stop, okay? The best stand to take in that is the middle ground, the high ground, where we can bring these people together under the common denominator that we want this war to stop and we want peace. Okay, because look, if these two groups of people can live in this country and not start fighting and shooting and killing each other out on the streets, then obviously it's possible, maybe, to a smaller degree, but the potential is still there that these two groups of people can live peacefully overseas, and the fact that they can't, shows that there's unwillingness on both sides. At least as far as the Hamas is concerned, that they're really not interested in trying to live collectively with Israel or try to blend their populations together. They're so bloodlust, and they got so much bloodlust in their minds about avenging each other that they're just not going to stop. Okay. Whereas over here, they haven't really done anything here for years and years and years, and and it's easier for them to live peacefully here in the States because there's no history between them here in this country of them just slaughtering each other, because we don't allow it. All right, if they live here, they have to live under the same rules as everybody else, and they have to live peacefully, okay, or they'll be punished. So what happens over there is that there is no punishment for people who try to do these things in that part of the world. What they have is military reprisals, okay? And, that only exacerbates a problem, because military usage is always a sledgehammer when you need a scalpel, okay, to stop a problem. When you use a sledgehammer, the collateral damage is extensive, and it leaves so much misery in its wake. And when you're deliberately antagonizing one side or the other by stopping the flow of power, water, and food and stuff from getting, that is another way of creating more animosity and anger. Okay, see, that doesn't happen over here. Okay, because the police would be out to stop that, the government would be out to stop. Things would be done to prevent that, to keep these two sides, from fighting with each other. But in rallies like this, they come together and, they can get nasty with each other talking because both sides stand with their people. The thing that they're overlooking is that they both want the same thing, peace. They want this war to stop. And instead of trying to take a side, why not just stand on the moral high ground and say, we sue for peace. We want this to be peaceful. We want this region of the world to stop their fighting. And work for that, march together for that. If they could march together for that common cause, it would go a long way, as far as people's opinion in this country as to what's right and what's wrong here. Where's the right place to stand, okay, on this? And like I said, the right place is the high ground, is you don't stand on either side, you stand for peace, because both sides want it. They want this to stop. So that's kind of what I was noticing today, actually over the last couple of days. I noticed there's been a lot of, mouthing back and forth here between Democrats over this. It's like the Democrats have this need to want to take a side on this, and And I'm saying that there is no, you can't take a side. This is not something where you take a side, okay? The best place is to stand in the middle where everybody wants peace. That's where they should be. Now, I don't know how many of you know this, but Mike Pence had dropped out of the race for president before it even really started. Everybody knew he had no friggin' chance. And the reason is pretty simple, is that he's weak. He's weak as a candidate for president, because 1 minute he's on Trump's side, the next minute he's against him. And that came through again here recently, and there's this article here I want to read, and it's written by Alia Shalb from The Insider, entitled "Trump, who defended January 6 rioters' chance of hang Mike Pence, now wants his former VP's endorsement." Former President Trump complained about disloyal people in politics as he called on his former Vice President Mike Pence to endorse him. Quote, "People are leaving now and they're all endorsing me. I don't know about Mike Pence. He should endorse me," unquote, Trump said at an event in Las Vegas Saturday. Quote, "Because I had a great successful presidency." Jesus! And he was the vice president. He should endorse me. I chose him, made him vice president. But people in politics can be very disloyal. I've never seen anything like it, unquote. Pence was Trump's loyal ally throughout his presidency, but their relationship soured when the vice president refused to help overturn the results of the 2020 election. During the January 6 attacks on the Capitol, some rioters chanted "Hang Mike Pence," and Trump later defended them. A former White House aide also testified that Trump told former White House Chief of Staff Mike Meadows that Pence, quote, "deserves it," unquote. Pence has long contended that he had no right to overturn the election, and later said that Trump's reckless words endangered my family and everyone at the Capitol that day. Pence on Saturday said that he had suspended his presidential campaign after he struggled to gain traction in the 2024 Republican primary. Okay. So, you know, weakness is something that both sides, Democrats and Republicans, don't like in their politicians, okay? But how people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert could hit the mark as getting a seat by thinking that they were strong candidates is a mystery, because, as you know, I mean, especially Boebert, her popularity is tanked, you know, way low. And she's been very quiet lately because of the shit that got out from her and her, you know, young boyfriend at that stupid theater, Beetlejuice theater thing there. And her basically trying to lie her way out of it, and then the video comes out, and then she said, "Okay, yeah, I did it." You know, okay. So, you know, like I said, it's really weird how, you know, sometimes, you know, there's always an example that defies the, you know, but at any rate, Americans by and large like strong, maybe too strong of a personality to their own detriment, because Trump, as you know, has a larger than life personality, an ego, you know, out to here, okay? And because of that, he'll do anything to get his way, break every law, cross every line, you know, smash every ethical, you know, rule there is out there. He doesn't care. He does not care. Okay, and then you'll turn around and lie to your face that, hey, even though you saw me walk out of there, out of the store with a whole bunch of stuff I didn't pay for, I didn't do it. You know, he tries to make you think you didn't see what you saw. Okay, and it's up to you whether you want to believe him or not. And fortunately, there's a lot of people out there that do want to believe his lies, even though they know the opposite happened. Okay, but to them, they figure he's a strong candidate. And we need him, really. Okay, you want a guy that you can't even control running the government, and who obviously will lose his popularity off the bat, just like he did when he was president. He lost the whole Senate, you know, because people already were pissed off at him after the first year and a half of his presidency. Okay, And for that, the Republicans lost the majority in the Senate. So why would they want this guy? You know, there's being strong, and then there's just plain old being arrogant. And that's where he's strong, is his arrogance is strong. Because his whole friggin' life, he got everything he wanted, basically, and got away with everything. You know, that's why, you know, to this day, he's delusional by thinking that, you know, because I didn't pay my taxes for so many decades, so many, you know, whatever, I shouldn't have to answer for it now, you know. And, you know, apparently he's got a statute of limitations on, you know, committing crimes to the country about taxes. Yeah. But, you know, the thing is that he's just, you know, he's really a very weak person, because he'll turn on anybody. And everybody who's ever been associated with him or worked with him find themselves at odds with him and out on their ear. Just like, you know, the lady there that I showed you at the beginning of this the video here, who was one of his lawyers, and now he says he doesn't remember her. I mean, I remember seeing her at the press conferences standing behind Powell and Giuliani. She was standing in the background, okay? And when they showed him this, you know, Trump's like, oh, well, I don't know. She might have been, you know, one of the, you know, a lawyer for something else or something. But, he tries to distance himself from these people. Otherwise, when he introduced her to part of his legal team, I mean, it was all fireworks and, you know, so he knew her then, but now all of a sudden he doesn't know her, okay, because it's convenient not to know her. But like I said, when people get associated with him or do business with him, he's just he's bad. He is bad news. I mean, what was it? Somebody said that everything he touches turns to shit. Well, it's true. You know, name something that he's ever done that didn't go sour. You know, or something that wasn't corrupted by him in some way. Okay, his legacy is going to be that. He's going to leave a weight behind him of all kinds of broken laws and, you know, his family name, you know, tarnished for decades, you know, to come in history. It'll always be there, you know. You know, it doesn't seem to matter to him at all about, you know, what he's doing to his family name by being the way he is. But, you know, for Mike Pence, I don't see how Mike Pence would accept, you know, endorsing Trump. I mean, but it wouldn't be unlikely or unlike him to do that, because like I said, 1 minute he's on his side, the next minute he ain't. And Mike Pence is weak, and that's why he ain't going to win nothing anyway. So, you know, people need to understand that, yes, Mike Pence is weak, but so is Trump. They were two weak candidates because they were both so flawed, you know, in their thinking, you know, that they couldn't help themselves, you know. And that's why Trump is out there trying to fight these court battles, and why Pence is out there trying to get his good name back, you know, but from people that are never going to give it back to him. They don't like him. Remember, Trump asked these people to go after him to stop that goddamn recount or whatever, you know, to endorse that election, and they didn't do it. You know, he wouldn't stop it, and they went after him. But, you know, he's radicalized the extreme right wing in our country to the point where they're just about what you could consider domestic terrorists. I mean, because you know, January the 6th proved that you know, they were a corrupt bunch of people there, and so, you know, people in America need to, when they think about who should be president for the next 4 years, as much as they are uninspired by Biden, they need to think about, well, would you rather be uninspired by a guy that can't really give you a speech that you want to hear, or would you rather somebody be lifting money out of your wallet every day without you knowing it, until you try to go buy something and you can't? Because that would be Trump. Which is better for you? Which suits you better? you know. And I think that people, you know, as much as they say that, you know, Biden doesn't, they shouldn't have him back for another 4 years. I say bullshit. Okay, Biden's done pretty well in the last 4 years, despite the fact that, you know, he doesn't have control of the Congress and he can't seem to get anything past him, but he still manages to get things going. Okay, and even though the effects of the good parts of his presidency haven't been fully reached by every place in America, that doesn't mean that it won't eventually come. Given the time, and if they give him the Congress back, he might be able to, you know, exacerbate these things quicker, to get things out, you know, to the areas of the country that still need help, where Trump would just never bother with that. He would actually take away or undo the things that Biden has managed to get, you know, by the factories that he's got being built now for microchips and stuff. I mean, he'd undo all that, okay? Because he wouldn't want any of that to succeed, to say, well, see, you know, if you'd have left Biden in there, there'd have been more progress like this, okay? He just won't do it, okay? He'll cut that down. So, like I said, you know, you have to weigh and think logically about it. Don't go on emotion. Whenever you vote by emotion, you always vote the wrong way, okay? Don't go by fear, you know. Go by, you know, what kind of news do you want to hear coming out of Washington, D.C. for the next 4 years? You want to hear more scandal and more corruption and possible warmongering, or do you want to see, you know, a guy that's interested in fixing, you know, the middle class and the poor and getting them back on their feet to make a stronger economy? Because a capital-based system, you know, is a system that relies heavily on people buying things, and if they can't buy anything, then the economy is going to fall apart no matter what you do to it. Okay, it just can't exist that way. All right, so let's go to commercial break. We'll be right back.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me!
This is me.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
Right now, I want to show too much of the bottom part there, but without too many curse words here, sir. No. What are your thoughts?
I don't have friends. I don't have family.
He's honest. He cares about kids. He cares about guns. He cares about our country.
Trump is mean.
Right now, my rights are being denied by the FBI.
I'm a proud Polish person.
He tells the truth, never lies.
I'm old. You can see I'm old. I'm older.
We need to get down on our hands and knees and pray for this man to get into office.
Trump has a big mouth. We all have big mouths, right, people? Trump! Trump! Trump!
His Christian values that he stands for.
We love Trump! We love Trump! We love Trump!
But definitely not woke, definitely not anything about any of that type of mentality.
Evil's taken over. Good needs to overcome the evil, and Donald Trump is going to do it.
King Jesus first and then King Trump.
And China. Put an end to it.
It's my birthday weekend.
The left and the rhinos, the globalists.
They kill them all. Kill them all.
School is back in session, and Republican lawmakers have been working all summer to make this year the craziest one yet. Say goodbye to boring woke books like Fahrenheit 451. In fact, just burn them. Do the horrors of slavery bum you out? The GOP has you covered. We've refreshed it with a brand new spin.
Being taken as a slave is better than being killed, no? No big deal.
Wow. Time for lunch. Oh, not for you, Jimmy. We're rolling up our sleeves and rolling back free and reduced lunch programs. What a freeloader. Go make varsity. But wait, not until the GOP double checks your genitals to make sure they match with the team. Thanks, Coach. And take an extra 20% off our already low standards with doorbuster deals on bulletproof backpacks. Now available in toddler size.
Now show me how you use your bulletproof backpack.
Come to the Republican Party and go back to school the far right way.
Hello YouTube, it's me Ted Cruz, here to tell you about a revolutionary new health supplement that helps you lose weight and build muscle. Introducing Trump's Tiny White Balls, the powerful new dietary aid made by Republicans for Republicans.
I find Trump's Tiny White Balls to be absolutely delicious, and this weight loss candy is pretty good too.
Trump's Tiny White Balls are designed to be licked and or sucked slowly to ensure timed release delivery of the powerful protein and enzymes located at each ball's core.
This delectable confection is made from only the finest white chocolate made in America. No inferior brown or black chocolate is allowed in this time-tested all-white recipe.
Once you suck your way down to the creamy center of Trump's Tiny White Balls, you activate the patented power-packed filling made from a proprietary blend of plants, twigs, roots, and lizard semen.
Donald and I may not agree on everything, but I still enjoy the taste of his balls. However, I do find them a little firm and crusty for my old 127-year-old teeth. So what I do is, I roll Trump's 2 tiny white balls around in my hand until they get moist and pliable. Once they're soft enough, I pop the former president's balls into my mouth and enjoy that creamy blast of Trump's rich protein. Yum, yum, yummy, yum, yum.
Personally, I like to lick Trump's tiny white balls, much the same way I did as a kid with a Tootsie Pop. It's more fun than driving drunk into a rock wall.
I've been obsessed with Trump's Tiny White Balls ever since my drag queen days.
It's a brand new product, George.
I'm fully aware of that.
The claims that this product helps you lose weight and gain muscle are just plain ridiculous. I mean, come on. I licked Trump's balls for over a year and I'm just the same amount of doughy as I've always been.
That is absolutely true.
Just look at this picture of me at the pool, for God's sake. I've got man boobs.
You can barely get your go-go boots on.
Really, Casey? At least I don't draw my eyebrows on with a Sharpie.
Hey now, is someone being a little bitch?
For God's sake, you look like an angry bird.
Most people have a preferred method to consume this groundbreaking new health supplement. I, for example, like to put 2 of Trump's balls in my mouth at the same time, then I sort of swish them around for a bit.
So essentially what you're saying is that you like to gargle Trump's balls.
Yes, I gargle Trump's tiny white balls as a way to break down the crusty outer shell.
Hello, it's me, Candace Owens, here on the set of my hardly watched online show, Black People Behaving Badly. Clearly, too few African Americans enjoy sucking on Trump's tiny white balls as much as I do. Perhaps it's because they're too busy abandoning their children and faking their own kidnapping.
When I'm facing a long day on the Senate floor, I like to fill my throat pouch with Trump's balls. That way I can skip lunch and devote even more time to destroying democracy as we know it.
I may have hit my head, but I didn't hit it that hard.
In addition to Trump's tiny white balls being packed with protein, each 2-ounce serving also contains more fiber than 5 pages of top-secret government documents.
I'm not just the owner of Trump's Tiny White Balls, I'm also a customer. Here I am before using this great product, and this is me after sucking my own tiny white balls. Here's another before. And just take a look at this after. Once again, this is before, and now check out the after. Not bad, right? This before really shows how far I'd let myself go, and this after proves just what's possible when you suck my tiny white balls.
Side effects may include blood clotting, constipation, skin rash, racism, memory loss, diarrhea, dizziness, anal warts, drowsiness, stupidity, dry mouth, shingles, intolerant headache, insomnia, bigotry, acne, nausea, hatred, delusional thinking, hallucinations, hearing loss, impaired motor function, dry skin, vomiting, more diarrhea, cancer, slurred speech, uncontrolled flatulence, maniacal thoughts, rickets, hemorrhoid, hair loss, hive, fatigue, more diarrhea, and premature death.
Thanks for watching Scared Ketchup's second MAGA-mercial, Trump's Tiny White Balls. If you like that one, be sure to check out the first in the series too. A fun ad for a terrific Republicans-only laxative called Immopium PM, now playing only on Scared Ketchup's YouTube channel. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more of Scared Ketchup's wacky brand of all MAGA, all the time comedy content. Because if you don't, you'll be hearing...
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it. It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Everybody. Well, the Republicans' embarrassment of a politician, George Santos, he's pled not guilty to the latest charges leveled against him. And NPR here has a story about that, written by Brian Mann, entitled "Scandal-Plagued Representative George Santos Pleads Not Guilty." Days after helping fellow Republicans choose a new House Speaker, Representative George Santos on Friday pleaded not guilty to the latest charges against him during an arraignment in a federal courthouse on Long Island, New York. Judge Joanna Sabert set a trial date for September 9th, 2024. The scandal-plagued freshman from New York's 3rd Congressional District was facing a second arraignment on a growing list of corruption charges linked to his 2022 campaign. Santos, who has acknowledged lying to voters about most aspects of his life before winning office, has denied any criminal wrongdoing and says he's running for re-election next year. He was arrested in May and charged with 13 felonies ranging from fraud to embezzlement. This month, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York expanded the indictment to 23 counts on Friday. Santos pleaded not guilty to all 23 counts, including identity theft, credit card fraud, and conspiracy. Santos is charged with stealing people's identities and making charges on his own donors' credit cards without their authorization. U.S. Attorney Brown Peace had said in a statement. According to prosecutors, Santos illegally charged $12,000 to the credit card of a campaign contributor without that person's knowledge or authorization, and then transferred the vast majority of that money to his personal bank account. On October the 5th, Santos's former treasurer, Nancy Marks, pled guilty to federal charges linked to her work for his campaign. It remains unclear whether she agreed to help the prosecution as part of her plea agreement. In addition to his growing legal troubles, Santos faces a House ethics probe, and he has been stripped of his committee assignments. On Thursday, many of his fellow New York Republican lawmakers introduced a resolution to expel him from Congress. Quote, Santos's many deceptions, coupled with the ever-expanding legal case against him, further strengthens my long-held belief that he is unfit to serve in Congress, unquote. Representative Anthony Desposito said in an October 11th statement posted on social media. Santos created a largely fictional biography of himself before winning office in 2022. He invented a professional resume and fabricated his educational background. He concocted a Jewish heritage that turned out to be untrue, and even claimed a college sport career that unraveled under scrutiny. The effort to oust Santos, like all other business in the House, was frozen for weeks by the Republican Party's bitter and protracted fight over the Speaker's gavel. It's unclear now whether fractious Republicans actually will vote to remove a member of their razor-thin majority. The move would trigger a special election in a district that includes neighborhoods on Long Island and Queens, where Democrats are expected to be highly competitive. Some leading New York Republican lawmakers, including Representative Elise Stefanik, who helped Santos win office, have so far stayed silent about his future. For now, the freshman Republican remains a full member of the Republican caucus, aligning himself with the far right. Meanwhile, in a statement on social media, Santos promised political warfare against New York Republicans who want him ejected. Quote, I do want to remind my dear colleagues that I will have a lot of time on my hands to return the favor in the most expedient fashion mankind has ever seen, unquote, Santos warned. Okay. Boy, I mean, it sounds very close to like Donald Trump, huh? You know, trying to deny everything and rewrite history. You know, for a guy that committed identity theft and, you know, lied to collect unemployment benefits, you know, and took donors' money to use it to buy designer clothes, then just lied about where he went to high school and college, and he never worked on Wall Street, even though he said he did. And, you know, he keeps secret where his money's coming from. And the fact that he lied about founding an animal charity, which he didn't. And he swindled a disabled veteran whose dog was dying, of all things. I mean, the fucking guy. Ripped off an Amish dog breeder with a bouncing check. And whether or not his mother actually died, you know, in 9/11 or not. I mean, he just, you know, he lied about everything, and he's still lying. And, you know, I'm not going to blame, you know, the voters in District 3 in New York for that, okay? Because they didn't know him when they voted for him, okay? They didn't know him, and so therefore there was no basis to assume he was lying about his credentials, right? You know, like if Donald Trump was starting to run again, you know to question what he tells you, right? Because he's lied to you before. But George Santos was a nobody. I mean, basically, I mean, I never heard of him before he was in Congress. So the people naturally thought that he was somebody they could vote for. You know, they liked the things he was saying. They just didn't know his shady background. So today, a lot of the people in that district aren't supporting him. Okay, in fact, a lot of them are screaming for his removal. But here's the thing. The Republicans that don't like him can't do anything right now about it because, like it also said in the article, the razor-thin majority the Republicans have. They're willing to allow a crook stay in office, okay, to utilize his seat, you know, and blackmail him in whatever way they can to get him to vote their side so they can keep their majority, okay? But you got him basically useless. He's just there as a figurehead, basically, you know, or just to say we got a seat and he's sitting in it, but he's going to do what we tell him. But he's saying on the other side of his mouth, oh, I'm going to get back at them. Well, why should we believe he'll ever do that, okay? If they're paying him to do what they want, he's not going to do a damn thing, okay? And he knows that they got him by the crotch here, as they say, okay? Because they have a list a mile long of things they can destroy this guy over. There is nothing that he's got that's ever going to overpower that, okay? So he's lying, okay? He's just trying to talk tough, but he ain't got nothing. And the thing is that with this guy, a lot of things can be said about the party as a whole. You know, what they're willing to put up with in order to keep a majority, which means they're willing to do a lot of other things. We know they're willing to incite riots. We know they are willing to cheat before an election, you know, by redistricting, and we know they'll keep crooks in their seats that are a member of their party until they're not. Okay, but as soon as they're through with him, they're just going to cast him out into the ocean and forget all about him. You know. But that's the thing about Republicans. I mean, how many Democrats do you know will do shit like that? I mean, I'm thinking of Cuomo. When all the stuff come out about him, Democrats kicked him right out, okay? And, you know, you don't see Democrats protecting crooks like that, okay? At least I haven't, you know. They don't put up with half as much shit as Republicans do. Because, you know, Republicans, they come, you know, with a baggage. It seems like every damn candidate that's a Republican, they always come with a baggage, a history, you know, something that you don't want to know about them, because if you did, you probably wouldn't vote for them, okay? And with Democrats, you know, it's kind of rare. Not that we wouldn't know a couple of things, but, you know, it's rare that you'd ever find the kind of level of black shit that's in their file like you do with George Santos. I mean, you see all these negative things, you know, that are just so terrible, you know, and it would just, it would just drive you crazy, you know, and I just can't see how, you know, they can sit there and point the finger at Democrats and say, oh, they're all corrupt and everything, when really all the corruption is coming from their side of the aisle, you know. Anytime there's a problem in Congress or the Senate, it's always the Republicans that are blocking things or stonewalling things or trying to disrupt progress in some way or start fights. You know what I'm saying? They're always doing something like that. And, you know, it's all an attempt to just shut the government down, to stop it from moving forward. And that's why they do it. And they know the issues that are going to do just that, okay? Which is why they keep harping on those things year after year after year. Because they know that works to their advantage, you know. So, I lost my train of thought. But the thing is that it's really amazing. Hi, Kiki. It's really amazing that we have this problem in our government, and people who once used to be on the side of morality, I guess, the moral core of the country, which who could have predicted how far they would have fallen by 2023, but who used to be people that prided themselves on folks of good character, would now support people of bad character as long as they got the letter R next to their their name, you know. And that's crazy. That is really crazy. And I pity a party that's like that now, because the folks that support it have got to be blind as a bat. They really have to be. It's either that or they're as dumb or as corrupted as the people they're supporting. You know, I hate to think that there's Americans out there who really believe the lies that they're told by Trump. And, you know, like I said, there's some Republicans that don't like Santos, and a lot of the people that voted for him would wish they didn't, okay? So he's got no popularity, he's got no base really to speak of. He's in there by the good graces of the party only, not because of anything the voters want him to do or say, okay? Because now they don't believe anything he says, okay? Whenever he says something about his past, it goes right to Saturday Night Live, or it goes to some, you know, like Howard Stern, where they can poke fun at it. You know, it goes immediately into comedy because they know what he is. He's a liar. He's, you know, I don't know if it's a mental problem he's got, or if it's just the fact that he was brought up to saying, you know, lying is fun and you should keep doing it. You know, I don't know where this happens, but obviously he's not fit to be in the seat. Like they said, you know, he should not be in the seat of power because he's dangerous. And he brings a lot of attention to himself that ain't good. And right now, Trump is doing too much of that, and they don't need anybody else. You know, like Bolbert, Green, and Santos. or Mike Getz. I mean, they don't need these folks drawing more attention onto themselves that's negative than what Trump is already bringing. Okay, but I wish I could be a fly on the wall in some of these homes that still want to support Trump for president again. And I wouldn't have to wish too hard because, like I said, my girlfriend's parents are hardcore Trump supporters, okay? They still are. Although I noticed that her mother is not wearing that goddamn MAGA hat anymore, but she's got another hat. It's red, and it has the American flag on the front of it with made out of little tiny blinky things or something. I don't know what it is. It's like a thing of bling. But she's not wearing her MAGA hat. I wonder if that means that she's losing her faith in Trump. I don't know. But I don't know. Not that she would ever admit to me that she lost faith with Trump. But the fact that she's been wearing that MAGA hat for quite a while, and now I saw her the first time a few days ago and she was not wearing it. I pointed out to her, I said, "Oh, that's a nice hat you got on." I mean to say, "Where's your other one?" And she didn't, I don't know if she caught on to what I was indicating, but she was like, "Oh yeah, it's a really nice, pretty hat and everything, it's got the flag on." I was hoping that she would say something about what happened to the MAGA hat she was wearing, but she didn't have it on. Oh, so, and, another thing you probably already know about, and it's been a shock to a lot of the young people and people in my generation, is Matthew Perry dying recently. That I think it happened a couple days ago. He was only 54 years old. And apparently he died in a hot tub or something. I don't know how that's possible, but you try to think about that. And he did have a history of drug and alcohol abuse, so maybe that factors into it somehow. I don't know, but maybe more information will come out about that later. But it really has hit our society pretty hard here in America, as it usually does anyway when celebrities die unexpectedly, which, it happens. Every death is always unexpected, right? So you have to expect the unexpected. But when you got a guy that's as young as he was there, and he dies, it really gets people kind of upset because, I guess we expect people to live longer these days. We certainly have people like Bob Barker, who was 99 when he passed away. I mean, it's hard to be sad about that, except, that people will miss him. But you can't say that he died young. I mean, he lived a long, active life and left behind a hell of a legacy. So you could say he's, one of the success stories of life. So it's hard to be too sad about that. I mean, would they say he went as close to $1 without going over? And we've had lots of other actors pass away. Like Richard Roundtree and Hayden Gwynn. I think of Tina Turner. She passed away. And then Suzanne Summers passed away. She was 76. She didn't look 76, but it's probably because she always kept her hair that same color, all her life. And I think that's probably what hit her age was that pretty much. If you keep your hair from turning white and you try to keep your face tanned and maybe, wrinkle free or something, it really hides the age of people. Women are doing a much better job these days with hiding their age than they did, when I was just a kid, and people in their 50s and 60s were older. And I mean, if you look at TV shows, let's say you look at a TV show that was on, running back in the 70s, the people who were supposed to be the kids in the show, like if it was like the Brady Bunch or something like that, they always looked older than the age they portrayed. But then you find out that no, they were, some of these people were actually younger than you thought, But it's like, well, why do people look so much older back then than they do at that age than they do now when they're at the same age? Even my father used to say that when he dropped me off at the school, high school, and the kids would be outside waiting for the bell to ring to run back into the building. He'd say, "Christ, those kids ain't high school kids." Yeah. He says, "Christ, they look awful young." Well, it's the same thing now. When we look young then, now they're looking younger still. Okay, like I said, there's a girl that I know that works at a restaurant, and she don't even look, like she should be out of high school yet. But she's not only out of high school, but she's 2 years older, okay, than 18. I mean, she's going to be 21 soon. And she don't look a day over 18 or, then, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's something, I don't know what the hell's going on, if it's the makeup or if it's just goddamn genes or something. I don't know. I really don't know, how women are doing it. Guys, I guess the same, I guess it could be said for guys. But it seems like, men don't take all the extra effort to try to hide their age unless they're trying to, it hinges on their career, to look young. It just seems really weird, I don't know how many of you have ever seemed to notice that about people. As the generations go on, they seem to age slower than the previous ones. And some people would say, well, it's because of, the vaccines, the medications, the stuff that we take to help us live longer must have some kind of cumulative effect on our biology somehow. And so, but, actors here like Mark Goddard, who passed away, he was 87 years old. I met him once at a convention. Seemed like a nice guy. It was a Star Trek convention, but they had a Lost in Space area there as well. But yeah, he died at the beginning of October, and so I was like, wow. And see, Burt Young, he was in the Rocky films. You had a lot of celebrity deaths this year, but I think if you look at the ones that have died, a lot of them were way up there in age, and it was bound to happen eventually. It just what happens is you forget sometimes about these people until they die, and then they put a thing out on TV about it and stuff, or on the internet, and then you're like, oh, I didn't even know he was still around. Well, he ain't now. But then, you come across some of these people that died, and they were never old. They were just young, some in their late 40s. And, they're all of a sudden, their memorial is up there, and you're like, what the hell happened? And, it's sad, I guess, because we all measure the health of our lives, by seeing how other people are living theirs. And, when you look at these, when you look at it, you try to kind of say, well, I guess you could analyze it and say, well, look, this generation seems to live longer. Okay. A lot of the people in this, and I'm talking about my father's generation, a lot of the people from my dad's generation, seem to live longer. Okay. And then there's people in my grandfather's generation that live longer. And, when I think about people like William Shatner is actually my grandfather's generation. Okay. And he's 90-something years old now. And, a lot of people, in that generation, and, of course, like I was saying, Bob Barker, it's, and then you see how our generation, a lot of them, I don't know, they're dying. A lot of them seem to die young. I don't know. Maybe it's just that a lot of these people are living, unhealthy lives or something. I don't know. But it just kind of gives you the EBGBs, thinking, oh, we're doomed, we're not going to live very long or something. I mean, because maybe it's all the fast food shit that we ate growing up. Maybe it's, whatever, a lack of exercise. I don't know. I don't know what it is, okay? And you're hoping that it's just a fluke. And you're hoping that, whatever you're seeing is just for them. They're the ones that do that. And, it's strange that we do that because, it also reminds us of our mortality. And that, we look at how old they were when they passed away and they say, well, I'm like 20 years away from that. I'm like, 10 years away from that. And, you feel like there's a clock ticking on yourself, okay? When we really shouldn't do that, I guess. We really shouldn't do that because we really don't know. Nobody can say they're going to live as long as so-and-so or live less than this person. Who would ever thought about some of these people living into their 90s and stuff like that, or even more? It's just, it's deceptive. It leads us to thinking deceptively about things. And it causes stress, makes us do things that are anxiety driven. And we should just bury that and forget about it and just live normally as we've been living normally, because you realize this stress and anxiety also can impact the healthier of your life. If you don't think that, you should read more about it because it's true. I mean, because, when a person worries, I mean, it physically disrupts inside, and when somebody dies that's young, I mean, yeah, it's a shock and everything, but you shouldn't compare that they died young, that you're going to die young too, because they lived differently than you did. Everybody has different habits, and if you try to imitate somebody else's habits and it doesn't agree with you, then you're putting aggravation on top of yourself. You know what I'm saying? If, like, say, this person works out constantly, so I'm going to work out constantly so I can look like that or live as long as this person. It doesn't work. Not always, it doesn't, okay? It might for a while make you feel good, but then after a while, it's just, it's like a diet, getting on a diet, and you lose a lot of weight, and then you gain it back, okay? Because, basically, that's not the way you are, okay? If you can eat and eat as much as you want, as long as what you're eating is the right thing. It's not something that's going to hurt yourself. And, it's just, you have to pay attention to what you're eating. Buy things that are healthy. Eating a lot of vegetables isn't going to kill you, but, it's just, but you have to take into account that, a variety of different things can be good, as long as they're all healthy choices and stuff like that. And you could, once you get in the habit of just eating good things, you'd be surprised how easy it is to just grab those things when you can get them. Now, I understand a lot of healthy things are expensive, so you have to kind of adapt by getting things, or by reading what's on the back of the stuff, to see what's there. And that's really the only way you can, live, is just, don't make big changes right off the bat. Gradual, slow changes. It's like a cat. You feed a cat a certain thing, and then the next day you're feeding it something else, and it pukes all over the place because they can't get used to the change right off the bat of their diet. You have to mix the food in with the other food over, a couple of weeks or so, and then just have the new food. That's how you got to feed a cat. People are like that too. Even we just don't puke, depending on what it is that we're getting. But we don't do that. But it is kind of an example of what I mean when I say that, people should not change their diet so drastically, because your body doesn't adjust that quick, to a new way of eating. So when you stop eating the healthy way and you slowly go back to where you were, your weight comes right back, because it's where it was all along, So anyway, I don't know, I'm rambling here on on all kinds of stuff right now. But anyway, that's it. So I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I hope everybody subscribes, comments, that watch the video. I'd like to hear from you. Keep your ears open to COVID-19 news in your area. It's still a problem out there, and it has its flare-ups, and then it goes silent for a while and comes back. You know, get your shots. I mean, if you're all comfortable with that, get your shots. If not, wear a mask. I notice people around here kind of been wearing masks now, but I find out that a lot of these people are wearing a mask because they found out that it keeps them from getting the flu. Okay, and it's true. I mean, if you wear a mask during flu season, your chances of picking it up are really cut way down below half. Okay, so you won't get sick. And flu medicines haven't been moving that much on the shelves, and so the flu medicines have gone up in price. So I think people learned something through the COVID mess about, you know, how you can protect yourself from getting sick from what's floating around in the air. So even if you ain't wearing it for COVID, you can wear it to stop, just to keep yourself from breathing in flu germs, you know. And still, you know, when you sit down at a restaurant table or something, it's good to have a wet wipe and just go over the goddamn thing, you know, to clear, you know, with some antibacterial stuff. You know, it's always good. Protect yourself, okay? Nobody's going to fault you for that, because they're going to understand, yeah, well, we were living like pigs before, which is why COVID spread so fast. We got to live healthier. We got to live more, you know, guarded, because we don't want to get sick. So do all that, and while you're doing that, treat each other nice. Don't go around starting fights, especially over what's going on over in the Middle East and all that. And just remember, you know, that no matter who you meet, if you treat them kindly, respectfully and stuff, it does come back to you. It does come back to you. And you know, people always remember that more than, you know, anything else, I think. You know, we think that people always remember negativity. Well, that may be true, but when the good thing comes around, that sticks out more. We remember those things. So I will talk to you all later, and take care. Bye-bye.